But either way, sounds like both of us here got the Rams. And then we'll move on to our afternoon games. We've got Patriots and Chargers playing in California. Yeah, I've got the Chargers on this one. I feel like you probably do too.
I do have the Chargers. The Patriots came out and smacked the fuck out of the Jets last week. The Patriots are getting better, but it's not. They're not going to be enough to go against that.
I mean, Belichick just dominates rookie quarterbacks, and obviously he dominated Zach Wilson to the point that he got injured. Yeah, Chargers, again, I think they're one of the better teams in the AFC. We're talking in that top 5, top 4 range for the Chargers. Herbert is the real deal. He's looking great. Yeah, the Patriots are just kind of that middling average team right now. They're beating the teams that they should. They are not competing as well as they should with other teams that are good. So, yeah, Chargers should win this one, in my opinion. Line is -4.5 for the Chargers right now on ESPN. Yeah, I got them covering.
Yeah, I got them covering too. I got them by a touchdown there. It might even be worse than that if the Patriots can't score, because we know the Chargers are going to fucking score.
Yeah. All right, next a little bit of a shit bowl. Jaguars and Seahawks playing
is this
in Seattle.
Game being played in London again? Because that's where this game fucking should be.
It should be. I mean, sorry for the London fans, but yeah, it's kind of one of those games that you would expect to see over there. Seattle -3.5 for this one. I'm actually going to take the Jaguars on it.
I got the Jags too because Geno's terrible. He played really good in relief when he came in that first game. And then Geno has been Geno because teams can look and actually scheme Geno now. Their running backs, I'm not sure if Chris Carson is still banged up. They were unable to do anything with their backup guys against the Saints. Jags are getting better. Urban Meyer is still not doing a great job. I think he's kept his fingers out of assholes recently, though. So that should help them. I got Jags.
Yeah, Look, Jaguars just looking alone at the offense. They've got Trevor Lawrence. He's only going to progressively get better. They got James Robinson at running back, and then they have multiple receiving options. Yep. That combination for me just spells Jaguars being able to roll over this defense for the Seahawks, which I think the defense for the Seahawks is just atrocious, especially the passing D. But the rush D has not looked good either.
Jamal Adams finally broke up a deep pass. That was interesting to see. He hasn't done that very often.
Probably a fluke.
Yeah,
that guy is doesn't understand that as a defensive back that you can catch a ball or whatever, defend the pass. He's basically a tiny linebacker. Yeah, Jaguars right now. Seattle, like I said, Seattle is favored. But yeah, I got the Jaguars winning this one.
I got Jaguars too.
All right. Next, Washington football team versus the Denver Broncos being played in Denver.
I got the Broncos coming back. I got the Broncos getting a win. Washington has not been who I thought they would be. Their defense has not been great. That Broncos offense gets a boost getting Jerry Jeudy back. So you got Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. They have two pretty good backs. They got to run the ball more still. Their defense is pretty damn good. Tyler Heineke ain't bad, but they only got the one weapon in Terry McLaurin. They don't have really too many other weapons in the passing game unless they're throwing it to Gibson. Gibson's a good back, but I think the Broncos bounce back this week and get that win against Washington.
Yeah, and Gibson's been kind of nursing this shin injury, which hadn't really been talked about too much other than just saying that he had a shin injury. It turns out that he actually has a fracture that he's been playing through and is slowly getting better and healing, but obviously he's just kind of been middling, especially as a fantasy running back, I should know because I have him on my team. But I have Denver in this one as well. Denver's favored -3 currently, as I'm seeing it on my page here. Look, Washington, we've talked about it ad nauseum. They should have had a very, very, very good defense. That was the heart of their team. And it just hasn't shown up this year for whatever reason. And so I'm kind of off of that train. I'm done thinking that the Washington football team and their defense might turn it around. So it's Broncos for me, especially being that it's a home game there for him. Teddy's just consistent, even though he looked bad last week. He did not look good, but I like the Broncos in this one. I think that it's consistent, that he's getting more receiving options back there. We're going to start to see a little bit more out of their rookie running back, I think.
Yeah, they should absolutely give him the ball more.
So it's Broncos for the both of us on this one. All right, and then next, Bucks and Saints being played in New Orleans. Look, Tampa Bay -4.5. The Saints have played a little bit better. They're surprisingly 4-2. Yeah, they're 4-2, which, you know, I mean, the Jameis had that blow up on the sideline at one of his receivers, Smith, this last week. But obviously, they were still able to go out there and get the win. It's the Bucks for me, 4.5. I think that they actually cover that. Even with the Saints getting Ingram back, it'll be interesting to see how the dynamic works between Kamara and Ingram because they like each other. They work well together. They're definitely the thunder and lightning kind of combo that you expect to see. That's definitely a good thing for the Saints, but I'm not sold on the Saints being that great of a team. I'm not sold on them being a 4-2 team right now. No, I just don't get that gut feeling from them. So for me, it's the Buccaneers here. Now, they are still going to be without some weapons. You know, Antonio Brown is out again for this game. Mm-hmm. I believe Gronk is out again.
I think he is as well. But even with those guys out, I still have the Bucks. Now, adding Mark Ingram is going to help. Now, it's not all on Kamara's shoulders. They needed another guy. They had one, but they let him go in Latavius Murray. They get Ingram back on the cheap for a late round pick. That is going to help their offense, absolutely. But watching that last game, Jameis is smarter with the ball than he used to be. But I think he is almost too conservative now. He's been a little bit neutered. They heard, I mean, if you watch the Manning cast, they asked Drew Brees, you know, how is this offense different between you and Jameis? I mean, and he said this is basically the same offense. It just looks different. And it is different. They are not letting the ball rip. Jameis is being ultra conservative, which is not something I expect from Jameis. Jameis missed a wide open touchdown pass in that last game. As soon as it happened, I sent it to the group text. It's like, what the fuck was he looking at? He's trying to find a guy down the middle, double high safety, right? So the idea is to attack the middle of the field. Well, both safeties kind of crash in. They had a tight end on a wheel route wide open in the end zone. Not a guy within 20 fucking yards. Now, it's a long throw, but Jameis is a guy that we've seen throw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. He should be able to drive that ball in there for a touchdown. Jameis doesn't make the throw. He either didn't see him or didn't trust himself, pulls it down, runs, gets the first down. It's a good play. But that drive ends in 3 points when he had an easy 6 standing in the end zone. I don't know why Jameis isn't letting it rip. I don't know if it's because he is a little bit neutered in that offense. And if he is, then the Bucs are going to have a fucking field day with this team.
Yeah. It's interesting to think, seeing how the Saints have performed this year and bringing Ingram back in and just how Jameis has played this year with him being, I believe, being pacified a bit by that coaching staff. If Michael Thomas had gotten the surgery when he should have, if he was going to be available, if he wasn't being a bit of a diva, what that offense would kind of look like, because that they don't really have crazy receiving options there.
No,
that's part of the problem. And then you add in a Michael Thomas, just like you have a Devontae Adams in Green Bay, that changes the dynamic for all the other receivers as well. And then they might start to open things up a little bit more with Jameis. I feel like that's the Michael Thomas situation probably is a big linchpin to their offense.
It absolutely could be. And I was surprised. Michael Thomas is a guy who was from Ohio State. He was always talked about as a really hard worker. He is a team guy. And then he gets in this situation and absolutely did not get the surgery on purpose. He wanted to miss time. He wants out of New Orleans. Why? I don't know. With Sean Payton, you should have a pretty prolific fucking offense. I don't know if did he not trust Jameis? Did he not trust the way the scheme was going to go with the change at quarterback? Absolutely could make a difference.
It's tough going from a phenomenal quarterback in Drew Brees, probably a Hall of Famer, and then to drop down to Jameis and all the stuff, crab legs and whatnot that surrounds that dude.
Yeah.
You know,
Jameis is either the greatest troll of all time or is the weirdest cat in the world. Like, he's either, if he's legitimately like this all the time, I don't know how people take him seriously. or Jameis is literally playing up this little thing, and he's been sticking with it for so long that he doesn't know how to get rid of it, and it goes down as the best troll the NFL has ever fucking seen. But I got
an
Bucks.
opportunity. So the Saints, I believe, shocked the Bucks last year, but it was early on in the year when we really didn't know what the Bucks were going to be, or at least they held them pretty close. Obviously, that's a completely different team.
Drew Brees on that team, though.
Yeah, completely different team. It'll be interesting, but I got the Bucks winning this, but I almost kind of see this as being an upset. To be honest, like my everything is telling me Bucks in this game, but then there's this little twinge in the back of my head that's like this might be the upset game of the week, where the Saints are able to somehow shock the Buccaneers.
Oh, I got my upset. I don't know if everybody thinks that the Lions. It's technically an upset. That's going to be the game.
That's the team that we're all banging the table for here.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the last of our games on Sunday, other than our two teams playing. So we'll move on to Monday night real quick. So this is the Giants and the Chiefs. This is actually an interesting one. Chiefs right now, the line that I've got on here is Chiefs minus 9.5.
Yeah, so I saw minus 9.5 as well. I was like, "There's no way the Chiefs are going to win." I'm going to say this again: the Chiefs are going to win. I don't know why I keep picking the Chiefs to fucking win because they've looked goddamn terrible. But this is the Giants. Giants came out. Big emotional win last week. They're going to have a letdown, I think. They're still banged up. The Chiefs,
but they might be getting some of those guys back, like Kadarius Toney. Look, they're allowing Daniel Jones to do a little bit more, which I'm not a Daniel Jones fan, but the guy's out there catching, running, throwing. He's kind of trying to do everything for his offense. So I give the guy, kid some credit.
Yeah, I'll give him some credit.
And he's playing hard. He's doing what he can to get his team wins. I don't have the Chiefs covering.
Oh no, they're not fucking covering. Absolutely.
I think the Giants are going to put up some points on this defense.
I think so too. The Chiefs perpetually don't cover. I was doing my football picks for my pool this morning, and I saw Giants Chiefs. I was like, all right, cool. I got Chiefs. Chiefs. I think they're going to win. And then I went back and looked at all the stuff again. And in our pool, we don't play the spreads unless the spread is 10 points or higher. Well, the spread that on our pool was 10 points. It's like, hold on, I got to change my Chiefs pick. I got the Giants fucking covering. They're not going to beat the Giants by 10 points or by 11 points. There's no fucking way. The Chiefs don't cover anybody, even when they were goddamn good, and they're not good right now. Giants are going to cover. I got the Chiefs on the win, though.
This is the other opportunity for an upset game, because if the Giants were somehow able to beat the Chiefs, the Chiefs will fucking implode. Their line looked like they decided to fucking retire over the past couple of weeks on offense.
Yeah.
The offense is just not firing. Like Mahomes, we know what Mahomes is. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but he is absolutely not playing like it.
He is not. He looks like a fucking battered man. If you see anything that's coming out on social media as well, his wife and his brother are fucking making this kid's life hell right now with all the dumb shit they're doing on social media. It's so hard to say the Chiefs are not good because they have so much talent on offense, but their defense is atrocious. The Giants have been better. They're still terrible. They're the Giants. They're going to cover, but I think the Chiefs finally figure out a fucking way to win.
Yeah, I've got the Chiefs winning, but I do not have them covering. And I don't even feel great about saying the Chiefs cover, which is just so weird to say against the Giants.
Yeah, they should. If this is any other year but this year, they fucking cover that no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But,
it's just an awkward year.
I don't know where the Chiefs are at. I don't know what the Chiefs are. I don't think the Chiefs know what the Chiefs are.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough offseason for them because, obviously they do have a lot of awesome options on offense. Even though, like I said, they rebuilt that line and the line looks good, and then now it just
looks terrible.
Kind of falling the fuck off. Obviously, they need to invest a lot of resources in that defense, and I feel like they're probably going to be very defensive heavy in the offseason, whether it's the draft or free agency. But offense, it's just not working for some reason, and it might be time for that change. Now, Bieniemy could be looking at being a head coach somewhere else, and it might be a good situation for the Chiefs to allow that to happen.
I agree.
All right? Get a new, fresh coordinator in there. Obviously, Andy Reid is going to have his system, but
Andy Reid is still, I believe, calling the plays.
Yeah, and if you get a young offensive coordinator in there, and Andy Reid is willing to be open to some new style, more modern play calling, being injected into his system, I think that's only going to help Mahomes.
I agree. But talking about them adding defensive talent, I don't know if they're going to be able to add defensive talent via free agency. That team is going to be so strapped by the cap because Pat Mahomes' new contract is getting ready to kick in, where he's making $40 million a year. How are they going to bring in any talent in free agency? I don't know if they can. They're going to have to – there's going to be some salary cap casualties that come on this Kansas City Chiefs
team. They're going to need to take the Patriots model, which is waiting after that first round of free agency or the second round of free agency and taking some of those veteran guys and putting them in positions where they can excel at their little niche of what they can do and getting them on lower contracts. I think that's how they're going to have to run it.
And then they're going to have to draft heavy defense.
Yeah.
But with the cap, I mean, the cap is going to go up, but it's not going to go up enough to fucking easily fit Pat Mahomes' $40 million underneath the contract, underneath the cap. That's going to be a tough situation. And this is something that we've seen in the past. When quarterbacks get paid huge fucking contracts, the team around them starts to falter. We saw it up in Seattle. The Legion of Boom. That is basically what carried them with a very good Russell Wilson.
The Legion of Boom is no more and hasn't been for a minute.
No, and they had to start dropping pieces, and then piece after piece after piece after that contract keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because most of these quarterback contracts are not the same amount of money every fucking year. Pat Mahomes' deal is basically the same amount of money, but the only way that they can get out from under that is to restructure it. They can't cut him, because if they do cut him, the way Pat structured his deal, he gets paid for the year after. There's at least $40 million in dead money if you get rid of Pat. And who's getting rid of Pat Mahomes? Nobody.
No, not happening.
But if the salary cap doesn't do what they think it's going to fucking do, this team is in trouble going forward.
Mm-hmm.